لقد يسرنا القرآن للذكر فهل من مدكر.
بسم الله الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome back to Tajweed Made Easy. This is your brother Abu Muhammad. Today's lesson we're going to start a new topic, which is the Makhaarij al-Huroof, the articulation points of letters. We'll find out 4 things today. Number 1, the definitions of Makhaarij al-Huroof. Number 2, how to pinpoint a makhraj of a letter. Number 3, a summary of what Makhaarij al-Huroof is. And number 4, the last point, we're going to start the first of the 5 areas of Makhaarij al-Huroof, which is Al-Jawf. We'll find out what Al-Jawf, where is this area, how many letters, how many points inside this, how many makhraj points inside this area, and also we're going to look at some of the common mistakes that people fall into, so we avoid them. As for Makhaarij al-Huroof, Makhaarij is a plural of the word makhraj. Makhraj linguistically means exit. If you live in an Arab country, above the door of malls and schools and offices, you find the word makhraj, which means exit, come out. This is the linguistic meaning. As for applied meaning, which is in the Quran context, the Tajweed context, it means where the letters come out from. Okay, the areas specific places where the areas come out from. The word huroof is a plural of the word harf, which means letters. A letter is just a sound that relies on a specific makhraj, specific point. So the sound relies on a specific point. There are 28 letters in the Arabic language. Now, how to pinpoint a makhraj of a letter? There are 2 ways. Number 1, put a sukoon on that letter, and previous to that, put a hamza with fatha, kasra, and dhamma. So a, I, u, then put sukoon on that letter. Say, for example, if we want to find out what the makhraj point of mim is, we'll put a, then mim sakina, so mim with the sukoon, the way the sound stops, that's where the makhraj is. So if I say once it stops, this is the makhraj point of a mim. So we find out if I say or im or the makhraj point of a mim is when the 2 lips touch together lightly. Or im or when the sound stops, that's where makhraj is. So the 2 lips touch together. Or that's the first way. The second way, put shadda on the letter. So amma or ammi or ammu. This is the second way of finding out a makhraj of a letter. So ba will be ab, ib, or ub. If I say ab, where the sound stops, ab, where it stops, that's where the makhraj point of the ba is. So we find out that it's similar to mim, when the 2 lips touch together, but a bit more compressed, ab. Whereas mim will be ba, ab, a bit more compressed. Now we just found out that 2 letters can have 1 makhraj point. 2 letters, 2 different letters, they can come out from the same area. Now we're going to do the summary of Makhaarij al-Huroof. This is just a summary, and then after that we're going to take each area in more detail. Number 1, we have here 5 different areas. So this is the head. So all the makhraj point comes from the head. Now in the head, there are 5 different areas where the 28 letters can come out from. Number 1, which is Al-Jawf. Al-Jawf just means the empty space between the tongue and the roof of the mouth. This whole empty space going down from here to here. When we're stretching alif, waw, and ya, not the actual letters. The actual letters, they're not pronounced from there. But the stretching of alif, waw, and ya, the huroof al-mad, this is where the articulation point is. There's no specific area. There's no specific point. This is the whole area and the makhraj at the same time of alif, waw, and ya when we're stretching them. So this is 1 makhraj point. We'll find out more in detail, inshallah. In today's lesson, we're going to do the Al-Jawf. We'll find out more detail, inshallah. Number 2, Al-Khayshum, which is the nasal passage, the sound that comes from the nostrils here going downwards. Noon and mim. It's impossible to pronounce noon and mim without having a natural sound that comes from the nose. So if I say amma yatasal, amma, see that nasal sound? That is impossible to say say noon or mim without that sound. So 2 letters, 1 makhraj point. Then we have ash-shafatan, the 2 lips here. 2 lips here, the 4 letters. Okay, 4 letters and 2 makhraj point. 1 makhraj for fa, specific place to say fa, and a specific place to say waw, mim, and ba. So these 3, they share 1 point. This letter, it doesn't share with any letter, so it has a specific point. These three, they have one point. We have here al-lisan, the tongue. This is most of the letters, 18 letters of the Arabic alphabets, they come from the tongue. We find out what letters are, which letters come off at the back of the tongue, middle of the tongue, side of the tongue, tip of the tongue, and so on. We have here al-halq, which means the throat. The 3 different makhraj points for six different letters. So in summary, this was Makhaarij al-Huroof. Now we're going to look at the first makhraj, which is the first area. So there are 5 areas. So number 1, Al-Jawf. Number 2, Al-Khayshum, Al-Shafatan, Al-Lisan, and Al-Halq. So this empty part, there's the nasal passage, there's 2 lips, or the tongue, and the throat. And inside these 5 areas, there's 17 different specific points of makhraj. So 1 plus 2 plus 10 plus 3 plus 1 is 17 points. So from the 28 Arabic letters in the Arabic language, there's 17 different areas where the letters can come out from. 17 different points in 5 different areas. So we have here on the board Al-Jawf, which is the first of the 5 areas where the letters, 28 letters, they come out from. So Al-Jawf, this is just the empty part of the throat. From here, going downwards. This is 2 things. One, it's a whole area, it's an area. And secondly, it's a point, one makhraj point. So this whole area, it doesn't rely on a specific point. So the makhraj point is just one makhraj point, which doesn't rely on a specific point of the area. So this whole area is a makhraj point at the same time. Al-Jawf, so the empty part of the throat and the mouth. Al-Jawf is only when we're stretching the alif, waw, and ya. So alif, waw, and ya, only when we're stretching it. So this doesn't mean the alif comes from there. No, alif or the hamza, it comes from the throat. If you say a, e, o, you find that hamza comes from the throat. We're talking about the stretching of alif when the previous letter has a fatha, or the stretching of ya when the previous letter has a kasra, or the stretching of waw when the previous letter has a dhamma. For example, iyyaka, iyyaka. When I stretch the ya part, this is the makhraj point of that stretching is this empty part of the throat. If I say ar-rahim, ar-rahim, the heem part, the makhraj point is the empty part of the throat, and ya'maloon, ya'maloon, the stretching part of the waw is the empty part of the throat. The important note here, so 3 letters when we're stretching the huroof al-mad, this is where the makhraj point is a whole area and a makhraj point at the same time. An important note is that some of the common mistakes that people make is that they put a nasalization sound for other than the meme. There should be no nasalization sound other than meme. Only meme and nun have a natural sound that comes from the nose. So if we're stretching, for example, iyyaka, and if we produce a nasalization sound, then we're not doing it properly. So if I say iyyaka, for example, iyyaka, iyyaka, there's no nasalization sound. If I say iyyaka, 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 then I'm producing a nasalization sound when I'm stretching it. So this is a common mistake, in fact. So we have to remove this. Ar-Rahim, 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 not Ar-Rahim. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, and so on. Or Ya'maloon, Ya'maloon, Ya'maloon is making a sound. How do we fix this problem? Then we practice with fatha, kasra, and dhamma. We say a. So if you say a, then stop. A, touch your nose and hear nasalization sound. If you can hear nasalization sound, then we're not doing it properly. If you can't hear it, then we're doing it properly. So if I say a, for example, a, no nasalization. If I say a, then I'm doing it. So I need to practice. So if I say e, if I say I'm doing a sound. If I say o, if I say o, this is doing a sound. So we practice this by doing fatha, kasra, dhamma, a, e, o. Once we're able to do it without a sound, then try it with words that have that letter. For iyyaka, an alif, this word, it's got an alif meant, and previous to that is fatha. So we try iyyaka, 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 and not iyyaka. And ar-rahim, try it, ar-rahim, and ya'maloon. So today, we looked at 4 things. Number 1, the definition. We looked at 4 things. Number 1, the definitions of Makhaarij al-Huroof. Number 2, how to pinpoint a makhraj letter, the 2 ways. Number 3, an overall, a summary of Makhaarij al-Huroof is. And number 4, we looked at the first part, the first area of the 5 areas of Makhaarij al-Huroof, which is Al-Jawf. We found out that this is the empty part of the throat, yeah, when we're stretching alif, waw, and ya. And we should avoid a ghunna, a nasalization sound, when we're stretching the letters, other than mim and nun. Inshallah, in the next lesson, we're going to do 2 more areas, which is the al-shafatan and al-khayshum, the lips and the nasal passage. Until then, jazakumullah khairan. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.